Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the work you and the committee have done on this very important piece of legislation. It's good to see you, Mr. Speaker, as always. I rise today to talk about why we need H.R.1. It's the Lower Energy Cost Act. I can't think of anybody in this country, especially working folks, especially the people in the 2nd Congressional District who I represent, that say to me, I need to pay more for my energy, Tim. And because they don't, they say, my energy costs are out of sight. We've got to feed our kids. We've got to buy books for school. We've got to buy clothing for our kids. We can't afford these higher energy costs. The Biden administration, and unfortunately the Democrats in Congress, keep pushing these Green New Deal style agendas. And honestly, Mr. Speaker, they just don't work. There hasn't been a new development in solar in over 20 years, and windmills are just what they are, windmills. The wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine in East Tennessee, and I'm sure that's the way it is across this great nation. And it's costing Americans way too much. We're done with all this nonsense, Mr. Speaker. H.R.1 is going to end restrictions on importing and exporting natural gas. And what could be wrong with that? Why in the world are we doing business with our enemies, the people we continue to send money to? We've got hundreds of years, by recent estimates, of gas in the ground that we could be getting out safe and environmentally sound methods. The burning apparatus now is so much safer than when this was first started. It's ridiculous. We need to fix this permitting process. We keep saying, I've heard the White House say many times through their spokesperson that we're permitting all these wells. Well, they don't permit the pipelines to get there, so we've got a gallon of fuel in the ground and we're trying to pull it out with something about as big around as a needle point. We got to process our energy projects so they can get off the ground in a reasonable amount of time. By the time we get to the end of it, the cost is so high, it's very cost prohibitive. We've got to make this Biden administration resume the lease on most of our federal lands and waters that they've restricted. We have to roll back President Biden's $27 billion slush fund for these Democrat special interest groups and these projects that amount to nothing but woke policy changes. We've got to stop the liberal states from abusing Section 401 of the Clean Water Act, which they add to a bunch of unnecessary red tape to every project they don't like. It seems that when we find a good resource, they put these barriers in place, and it's just not right. Mr. Speaker, we need to focus on keeping America's homes heated and their lights on. Nothing should be more important, especially since the fact that we're forced to purchase it from our enemies overseas, the people that hate our guts. They love our dollars. We pay them, and then the next thing you know, they're burning our flag. They're saying things about us that aren't true. They're causing us all kinds of problems. And the best energy solution, Mr. Speaker, above all, is the solution that we need: oil, gas, and nuclear energy, like they're working on at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. It's not in the district I represent. It backs up to where I am. And over 6,000 people work there that live in my district. It's also home to Big Ed's Pizza, which is a wonderful place. I'll just throw that in. H.R.1 is going to spur energy innovation, Mr. Speaker, here at home, and I'm proud to support it. I thank you for your time, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back the remainder of